Hi there. Testing, testing, testing. I guess everything is working well. So I'm streaming here on YouTube. Sometimes I stream on Facebook and then put the video over. I'm doing it this way today, and we'll see what happens. I never know. I'm still experimenting, and oops, they're getting feedback, which means that it is here on YouTube. Sometimes I stream on Facebook. Okay. Let's see. How do I do this? I'm doing it this way today, and we'll see. Okay, great. I'm going to say hi over here, and boy, it's good. Anyway, so live from Wakanda, you can see in the background there, the real Wakanda, not the one in that second terrible Black Panther movie. So I wanted to talk today about what I'm doing with, well, about 5 years ago, I was given a promotion, an honor to the ancient Alpha Warriors. People have been practicing martial arts for over 40 years. And I was asked, what are you teaching? And I realized I didn't have an answer to that because I'd been concerned with my own skills and my own fitness and my health, but I hadn't really thought about what I was passing on to others. I mean, I would teach some Tai Chi and do some things like that, but not regularly. I hadn't done that regularly for a long time. So that thought led me to some deep considerations. What was it that I was teaching? What was it that I was doing? Plenty of people out there teaching competent self-defense techniques. I wasn't really needed for that. The question was, what is it that I'm doing that I did not see a lot of? And that was a really interesting question. So I began the process of creating Firedance, which is this, dynamic way of combining movement and emotion and thought to anchor into your body the basic principles of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. And I began teaching this on Saturdays, every Saturday at 12 noon Pacific. You can go to thefiredance.com and you'll join us, and we'll be there. And there's no cost for it. I also, of course, I've created a full course that teaches the entire Wu style Tai Chi form in 1 year, plus the more basic techniques of Firedance, emotionally, and things of focus, and in techniques of dealing with fear and stress and so forth and so on. And you can go to, like I said, thefiredance.com, thefiredance.com on Saturdays at 12 noon Pacific, and you'll join us. But what I've been doing as I create a book that puts into the greatest clarity I'm capable of what it is that I see in terms of what the martial arts have to offer and what these self-improvement techniques have to offer. And I created a system. And it's still evolving. It is not mature. It's not set in stone. But roughly speaking, the white belt level of this is the 5-minute miracle, where every hour, you do 60 seconds of deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing, and you do this at least 5 times a day. At the top of every hour, you just set your cell phone and do this at least 5 times a day, deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing. And no, it's not the same as if you do the whole thing at one time. It has to be scattered through the day for a variety of reasons. It's stress relief, it's executive function, it's a lot of different things. And there are two other things that I think are important. One is that they're both conceptual. So in other words, one of them is a practice, and the other is a conceptual. The first concept is the 3 gates. Before you act, before you speak, ask yourself, is this true? Is this kind? Is this useful, efficient, effective? And that is a complete ethical and system in a box. I mean, really, you could write it on the back of a matchbook, but you could study it and explore its implications for a lifetime. And the other thing, I think, is the question of what is the meaning of life? And I think that it is possible to look at that by listening to biologists and physiologists, as well as listening to spiritual people like the Dalai Lama. And the conclusion would be, if I might be so bold as to make a suggestion about what that is, that the meaning of life is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. Escape suffering, be of joy, embrace joy, and be of service. What is suffering? Pain is optional. Suffering, pain is sad. I mean, pain is inevitable in life. Suffering is optional. I'm still waking up in the morning, so pardon me about that. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Pain is in the moment. Okay, somebody cuts you, you bark your shins, whatever. It hurts, and that pain exists to send you a message to do things differently in the future. But suffering would be holding on to pains in the past, or fearing pains that might come in the future. See, now you're suffering, and that is different. It's very different. The pains of life always come. But if you learn the lesson, you don't need to hold on to it. So the reason you're suffering from the past, the reason suffering has a purpose, is that a lot of times you didn't learn the lesson from the pain. So stay conscious. All of the joy, all of the aliveness, everything that you're looking for in life is in this moment. It's not yesterday, and it's not tomorrow. It's in this moment. All the power is there. And there are entire systems of thought and practice that exist for nothing more than to help you be here now. Stay in this moment. Stay in this moment. Stay in this moment. Why? Because if you stay in this moment, you're going to learn the lessons, and you're going to extract the information more rapidly, because you were really conscious of what was happening. And you'll need to do some thought later on. Why did that happen? How can I prevent it happening again? But as soon as you can trust yourself, that won't happen again, or it won't happen that way, so that you're learning every time, and you know yourself, and you know that you can do that, then it is safe to let the pain go. If you're afraid of the future, then at the same time, what is the thing that you're afraid of? You ask yourself what the thing is you're afraid of. Start looking into the tools that you have for dealing with it. Quite often, things that happen in the future are problematic or more problematic, if you're not in the moment when you get there. In other words, the problem with the future is that by the time you get to the future, it's just another present moment where you're not being here. You're being in the past, or you're being in another future. You're being a future further along. On today, Monday, you're thinking about Sunday, or you're worried about Tuesday. But by the time you get to Tuesday, you're afraid of Monday, and you're worried about Wednesday. No, it's one day at a time. Just one day at a time, 1 hour at a time, one moment at a time. So bring that to the 5-minute miracle. Each breath of the 5-minute miracle is about being here now. So the conceptual things are things that we think about. The 5-minute miracle is how we anchor it into our bodies. And this is the white belt material, and you need to go over this. You need to think about it. You need to do the breathing, and then you need to ask yourself, am I living according to the 3 gates? Am I being as honest as possible? And how do I know that what I think is true is true? Am I being as kind as possible? And what happens if I need to defend myself? How do I defend myself kindly? Well, it's as kindly as possible. You might not be able to be as kind to the mugger as you're being to your family. Who depends upon you? Who's in the right here? If you've offered no offense, you have the basic animal right to defend yourself. And you get that from the breathing. Just all you have to do is try to stop breathing, and you'll find out your body really wants to live. I think that by working your way through the basics here with this approach, you have a chance to get your feet on a foundation of a path that will take you to where you want to go. It's not in conflict with any religion I know of. Every philosophy, a philosophy is just the attempt to turn, what is true. So there shouldn't be any conflict here. I don't think. If you can think of something that's a conflict, please tell me, drop it into the comments, because I'm still trying to evolve this. But those three things strike me as being the most important. Breathing, the three gates, and the meaning of life is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. I hope I've been of service to you today, and I hope that on Saturdays you'll drop by at 12 noon Pacific at www